Hello, everybody. In today's video, what I want to talk about is something that somebody actually requested me to do, which is what are some things you can ask a company that you are potentially looking to, uh, lease with as an owner operator, whether you're doing containers or you might be doing something else. Either way, these could work for both. Let me go ahead and just get started. Now, one of the first things you want to do if you are looking for somewhere to lease with, you're going to be using their authority, not your own. Some of the things you want to ask is, what do they cover? I got my list here. It's a good enough long list that I'm just going to be looking down, trying to remember everything I said. But yeah, so what do they cover as far as when they lease on with you, or you lease on with them rather? So you got things like insurance, right? You're going to have to get some type of insurance yourself, but some of them you don't have to get, like passenger insurance. You don't have to have that, but cargo insurance, bobtail insurance is another one. And then there's like at least two more. There's like two more I can't think of, but the company will cover at least some of that, or at least, some of these companies do. So ask which ones they cover. So what else do they cover? Another thing would be plates. They might not cover plates, but they may get the plates for you. You know what I'm saying? They could register the vehicle for you. You would have to pay them to do that, but you don't have to do it yourself. Same thing with decal. Well, they just do the decals themselves, so didn't have to worry about that. But yeah, just simple things like that. The next thing is payment, right? You want to know how much you get paid. Like, what's the cents per mile, or is it just a percentage of the load? Um, and then on top of that, if you're getting paid, whichever one it is, does it come with a fuel surcharge? What is the fuel surcharge? When I was working at AIS, which is now IMC, they had a fuel surcharge of like 22%. Evans, on the other hand, when I started with them, they had a fuel surcharge of like 40% of I ain't gonna say the low, but 40% of what the cost was, you know what I'm saying, to do the run. That's a significant difference. After that, staying on, getting paid is detention time. How much do they have as far as pay? And when you get detention time, and when does detention time start? Because some places it's an hour where it starts at IMC. Some places it's 2 hours, which is Evans. Evans, they're doing $75 every hour. And then IMC is doing 50, or at least they were at the time where I was there. So you can see how these two different companies compare with each other as far as, payment is concerned. So you got one place that has lower overall run, but the detention time pay is better, where the other one is the exact opposite. So yeah. Do they do local runs? Do they do over the road runs, or is it both? And once you get that information, you want to ask, okay, well, what are some of your consistent runs and how much do they pay? Somebody usually should know that, or they can get you in contact with somebody that does. What kind of other expenses they got, like the CDLs, electronic logs. Like, I got to pay for this tablet, for example. I got to pay a couple of other miscellaneous stuff that I can't even think of off the top of the head, but this is like $5 a week that I got to pay for. Drive wise is something that you would have to pay for. That's pre-pass, so you can, go past the scales, and that's like $12 a month or something like that. That they have on the tablet, but you have to pay for it yourself. So yeah, I don't think that's just at this company. So I don't know how other companies do it. All right, everybody, this is a quick edit. Had two more questions that should be added to the list. One is that you want to make sure that you ask them about any forced runs, meaning that you shouldn't have to take anything that you don't want to take. And even if you want to take tomorrow off, do maintenance or just stay at the house or whatever, then that's perfectly fine. The next thing is that you want to make sure that you can terminate your contract with them for any reason at any point in time, just like they'll do the same thing with you. And make sure that if you can, there is no penalty. Next thing I want to talk about is inspections. How often do you have to get inspections? Sometimes that depends on how old your truck is. For an example, at IMC, when I was there, I'm gonna stop saying that, but at IMC, if your truck is older than 10 months, you got to get an inspection every 3 months. If it's younger than 10 months, 10 years. If it's younger than 10 years old, then you got to get it just twice a year. Here at Evans, you got to get it twice a year. I did not hear any limitations on the age of the truck. It's just 2 times per year. And they will pay for one inspection and you got to pay for the other one out your own pocket. On top of inspections and your state inspections, some places will make you have mandatory inspections with the safety manager at the company. So if you're somebody that isn't near one of like the home terminals, then you'll have to go to the home terminal like once a month to make sure that the safety inspector there, they'll do a quick inspection, like a DOT inspection, to make sure everything on your truck works. Like sometimes it's not that bad. Like if you got to drop off paperwork, then you can go ahead and get the safety inspector to go ahead and do the safety inspection then and there. But otherwise, I mean, kind of is what it is. Are there any discounts that they can get with shops? Okay. Some places got it, some places don't. IMC, for another example, they have a 10% discount at Goodyear. So they get 10% off tires, but that's only with their company drivers, the company trucks, not with owner operators. Owner operators can't use that, unfortunately. So yeah, it sucks. But that goes to my next thing that you want to ask. You want to ask if there are any company trucks. Might be a bit of a competition, you know what I'm saying? They might do like, okay, we got to make sure our company trucks get work first, and then whatever's left can go to the owner operators. And you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? If you could, you'd rather be in a place that just has owner operators, especially a place that ain't going to show like seniority. You know what I mean? So in most places, I don't feel like they would, it's just whoever was at the top of the list that we call, today, they'll be at the bottom of the list tomorrow, and then, vice versa. Everybody can get a good balance of runs in, but that's just me. That's how I would do it. Can you take containers home with you? Some places will let you do that. Some places won't. It depends on the company. You know what I'm saying? If you got a loaded container, they might be like, yo, you got to take this container to the yard, and then you can go ahead and head out. If you want to take your truck home, then fine. But you got to bring this container to the yard where we know where it's at. Whereas some other people might be like, look, if you can make sure it's secured wherever it is, then go ahead and take the container with you. That might be out of your way to like a good hour out of your way. Are there any other benefits to running with that particular place? Fuel cards would be a good example. Are there any apps that they use that can help you out? There's one app up here, like DriveWise Prepass is one thing, but they got EFS card control. They got Fuel Book, which is something else they got up here. If you can see that. They aren't anything I use in particular, but like card control helps with helping you figure out places that you can go to get gas and what their fuel price is. Yeah, with all those things being said, man, that's a clear list of things that you could ask and things I would personally ask whenever I'm talking to somebody on the phone, whether or not I would like to move forward with trying to, lease on with them as an owner operator. So hopefully these helped you out. If they did, let me know in the comment section which one is something that you didn't think of, or if there's something I missed that you like to ask yourself. Let people know in the comment section so they know it's a good idea to ask that as well. And I'll see y'all in the next video.